Welcome to Oxford News This Week. I'm Elgin Nichols.
And I'm Terry Stiles. In this week's news, officials discuss potential loan for the Addison Township Library, and an OHS alum looks to open a senior living facility in Oxford.
Stay tuned. Learn more about these stories and others. The Oxford News begins right now. The Addison Township Public Library Board is seeking a loan. In an effort to increase resources, the Library Board will discuss the possibility of building a new facility. Library Director Jema Berman is hopeful the community will better receive the request than the last attempt in 2010. Berman said at that time the community was experiencing a recession and plans for a larger building were turned down by the community. The new plans are for a smaller building, and according to Berman, the library has raised funds to cover half the cost of the building. A meeting to discuss the preliminary plans will be held this week.
Oxford Township officials want to be sure everything is clear as possible when voters go to the polls in November. So ballot language has been crafted and approved for a millage proposal to fund Oxford Township Parks and Rec. This was after the 3 meetings by 2 boards last Monday. During a special meeting, the township voted 6-0 to place a 15-year 1 mil property tax on the November 6th ballot. If approved, the millage begins in December of 2018 and ends 2032.
An Oxford native has returned to his hometown with the hopes of creating a unique living space for senior citizens. David Fulkerson, who lives in Oakland Township, is scheduled to go before the Oxford Township Planning Commission on Thursday, August 23rd, to present his plan for Grace Premier Senior Living, the single-story, nearly 54,000 square foot facility.
During a pre-application conference last week, Oxford Township officials were presented with a concept for a mixed-use project sited along West Market Street in the Waterstone development. The Township Planning Commission feedback was that the project was too dense with not enough commercial space. However, resident neighbors expressed they preferred less density with 0 commercial projects. The plan submitted for a 7-acre site with 2 parcels facing each other on opposite sides of Market Street.
Because the current Oxford Township Police millage approved by voters in 2014 is set to expire in December 2019, Oxford Township Clerk Curtis Wright asked the board to include a millage renewal proposal on the upcoming November ballot, which would avoid having to hold a special election in 2019 in order to pass a renewal. Last week, the board, however, voted 5-2 to not include the renewal on this year's general election because, as Township Supervisor Bill Dunn stated, he felt the only 90 days before the election was not enough time for a millage renewal support campaign. Clerk Curtis Wright and Treasurer Joe Ferrari cast the dissenting votes.
Well, so maybe next year in 2019 they'll have a special election.
I agree, though, if there isn't enough time, to put it together
I agree with that.
And get people to understand what's going on, right?
But the newspaper talked about how much a special election costs too, so that's something to consider.
Right.
I want to talk about some of the new faces that we have here at OCTV, and maybe you have seen them. Rachel Baker, who has been around town, and she's picking up a lot of interviews for me, which is really nice. And then we have Alexis Ware. She's new, and she will be doing our school news in our news. Also, Rachel and Alexis will be picking up John's show, Schooling Around.
Schooling Around.
John moved up north, so we no longer have John
Those are big boots to fill.
Yeah, they are. I wish the girls luck.
Yeah, she's tiny, so
Yeah.
let's see how that works
They're
out.
going to tag team each
Talented.
other on the schooling around, which is really
Okay.
nice. They're going to be able to work together. And then Rachel has picked up a lot of stuff for me, which is really nice too.
Both these ladies are very talented, and they come with some pretty good experience, and they're gaining more as they work here, of
That's
course.
right. We've been able to help kids move on to major markets, and I know both of them are hopeful to do the same. And it's always hard to see them go, but it's like our babies, our fledglings have left. Lots of new things at OCTV, that's
Yes.
for sure.
Well, we've had a number of people actually left here and gone to NBC affiliates,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. So,
Right. Yes. So that's what you're doing for your community. You're helping people move on in their career. And that's it for Oxford News this week. If you'd like to learn more about these stories and others, pick up a copy of the Oxford Leader newspaper, or better yet, you can catch us on our website at occtv.org, on YouTube, and of course the regular channels, Charter, which is also Spectrum, Channel 191, or AT&T Channel 99.
and coming up is OCTV's very own Cody Wright with the Sports Report, and you won't want to miss Auto Talk and Science in the News with Dave Kenny.
I'm Terry Stiles. Thanks for watching Oxford News this week, where we bring your news closer to home.
And I'm Elgin Nichols. Remember, always be kind to your friends and neighbors, and thanks for watching.
The Michigan Renaissance Festival is about to begin. Tell us which OCTV show you're watching and we'll send you a limited number of tickets while supplies last. Just send a self-addressed stamped envelope to 1775 North Lapeer Road and we'll get them back to you. See you there. Huzzah!
Welcome to Science in the News. I'm Dave Kenny, and these stories are taken from the publication New Scientist. In our first story, the gravity of a dense neutron star can be so powerful that it bends light emitted on one side towards the opposite side of the star. In other words, an observer could see it all at once. When a star is destroyed in a supernova, it can leave behind a neutron star, a ball the size of a city and very dense. Hajime Satani at the National Astronomical Observatory in Japan and his colleagues modeled 3 neutron stars, each 10 kilometers in radius, one with the mass of 2 suns, one slightly more massive, and one slightly less. They found that the light from the least massive star, well, it acted normally. But for the denser stars, photons from the back are whipped to the front by gravity. Photons emitted at a right angle can still travel around the star, away from the star, but those leaving at any other direction will be bent around to the front. These gravitational lensing could distort the light from our perspective, implying we would see a different light signature from denser neutron stars. A circular hotspot on the star could look like an arc, for example. Wow. And on the medical front, an analysis of more than 580,000 heart attacks found that women are slightly less likely to die from a heart attack if a female doctor is in charge of their hospital treatment. You have highly trained experts with life or death on the line, and yet the gender match between the physician and the patient seems to matter a great deal, says Seth Carnahan from Washington University in St. Louis. Carnahan and his colleagues trawled through anonymous patient data from Florida hospitals from 1991 to 2010, recording factors such as age, race, and medical history. Even after taking these factors into account, they found that female patients were slightly less likely to survive heart attacks than male patients. When patients were treated by male doctors, 12.6% of men died, compared with 13% of women. The gender gap was much smaller but still present when female physicians took charge of treatment. In these cases, 11.8% of men died, compared with 12% of women. Our work corroborates the prior research showing that female doctors tend to produce better patient outcomes than male doctors, says Carnahan. The novel part of what we are doing is showing that the benefit of having a female doctor is particularly stark for a female patient. Take notice. And our last story, call it small dog syndrome. It seems when smaller dogs urinate on objects, on their walks they might be using this opportunity to deceive by aiming higher to give the impression that their mark was made by a much bigger animal. When male dogs spray urine, they are scent marking, laying down an odor-based message to other dogs that communicates health, sex, and age. In this way, scent marking is considered an honest signal, relaying accurate information to potential competitors and mates about the animal's attributes. But when Betty McGuire at Cornell University looked at how body size influenced scent marking, she and her team noticed a peculiar pattern. Small dogs urinated more frequently than large dogs, and they were more likely to urinate towards vertically oriented objects. Small males seem to make an extra effort to raise their leg high. Some small males would almost topple over, says McGuire. So we wondered whether small males try to exaggerate their body size by leaving high urine marks. Her team filmed adult male dogs urinating on short walks to calculate the angle of the dog's leg when raised. This was compared with the dog's height and mass. They also measured the height of the urine marks on the chosen targets. Unsurprisingly, when the dog's legs were raised at a higher angle, well, the urine hit higher on nearby surfaces. The team found that the small dogs angled their legs proportionately higher when urinating than bigger dogs did, thereby marking higher than expected for their size. It's likely the point is to deceive competing males. Direct social interactions with other dogs may be particularly risky for small dogs, says McGuire, since they can't measure up physically in a one-on-one competition with bigger dogs. This risk may be why small dogs seem to prefer scent marking, doing so more often than large dogs, and it allows them to establish a presence without interacting with the competitors directly. Smart little dogs. Well, that's it for this edition of Science in the News. I'm Dave Kenny. Stay tuned to Oxford Community Television.
What's going on, Oxford fans? Cody Wright back here once again for this week's Sports Report. First things first, I want to remind you all of the upcoming fall high school sports season that is just now starting. This past weekend, varsity soccer will be playing at Country Day in the DCD tournament, and varsity volleyball will be taking on Lake Orion here at home. So we will be reporting on those matches and a few others come next week. Also, the boys varsity football team will be taking on Romeo on the 24th. And with that said, the freshman JV and many other sports will be picking up here within these next few weeks. So to inform yourself to the max, to assure you don't miss the events you want to go to, visit oxfordathletics.org. The schedules are now posted for the most part, and coming soon they will be posting results as this season gets moving. Also coming up in about a month is the third annual fundraising event, Cars vs. Bars softball game at Seymour Lake Park. The patrol officers, the Cars, will be taking on the jail officials, the Bars, in a competitive but good-spirited softball game. These guys are athletes, and you'll see what I mean if you attend. It's a good game and a good cause, so mark your calendar for September 8th. We will remind you once again when we get closer to the date. And lastly, the Oxford Recreational Baseball Association, known as ORBA, has now completed yet another season this summer. Last year, they coached around 300 children between ages of 6 to 16. ORBA is now under new leadership and is reaching out and looking to improve communication with its members. A website, orbabaseball.org, is in the works, and the next board meeting will be held in mid-September at the public library. Well, folks, that's all for this week's report. Like I said, things are about to pick up with our fall sports schedule, and we are really looking forward to it. But for now, if you want to look back at the events from the summer, go to our website, occtv.org. We post all of our coverage on our YouTube page, which you can access through the website. Once again, that is occtv.org. I want to thank you all for watching and remind you all to tune in next time. But until then, I'm Cody Wright. Go Wildcats.
Welcome to this edition of Auto Talk. I'm Dave Kenny, and these stories are taken from the publication Automotive News. In our first story, Ford Motor Company is pricing the revived Ford Ranger about the same as the segment-leading Toyota Tacoma as it prepares to re-enter the midsize pickup market for the first time in about 8 years. The 2019 Ranger, which goes on sale early next year, will start at $25,395 including shipping and will top out at more than $40,000. That's about the same as the Tacoma, which starts at $25,400 for 2018 models, but more than the Chevrolet Colorado and GMC Canyon. Pricing on the 2017 Colorado starts at $20,995, while the 2017 Canyon starts at $22,095. Ford said August 14th it has opened dealer order banks and consumers can begin pre-ordering the truck. The Ranger will come in 3 trim levels, XL, XLT, and Lariat. Ford will sell 2-door Super Cab and 4-door Super Crew configurations and offer both 4-wheel drive and 2-wheel drive for each configuration. The base XL 4x2 Super Cab with a 6-foot box will be priced from $25,395 with shipping, Ford said, and the XL 4x2 Super Crew with a 5-foot box starts at $27,615. The most expensive Ranger, a Lariat 4x4 Super Crew, will be priced at $39,480. That figure can top $40,000 if buyers choose the FX4 off-road package, which is a $1,295 option. The FX4 package is offered on all 4-wheel drive models. It comes with the terrain management system first offered on the F-150 Raptor that features tour drive modes normal, grass, gravel/snow, and mud and ruts, and sand. The package also includes a new trail control which acts as an off-road cruise control by accelerating or braking to maintain a set speed while traversing gravel or mountain trails. It's an extension of the automaker's hill descent control, which controls braking on steep grades. The FX4 package will come with standard automatic emergency braking, and Ford sells the Ranger in dozens of markets overseas. The 2019 Ranger has been specifically engineered for North America, the company says. It will come with only one engine, a 2.3-liter EcoBoost mated to a 10-speed automatic transmission. The latest Ranger has mostly steel body, axles made by Dana Incorporated, which also supplies the Jeep Wrangler, and an exterior design similar to its larger F-Series counterparts. During development, it went through the same torture test as the F-150. It will include a number of tech features such as a standard 4G connected Wi-Fi hotspot, Ford Pass Connect, and pre-collision assist technology. Ford stopped selling the Ranger in the U.S. in 2011. It was regularly among the segment's top sellers, including #1 as recently as 2004. Ranger sales routinely totaled more than 300,000 a year in the 1990s before fading in the early 2000s. U.S. sales of midsize pickups have climbed 18% this year after rising less than 1% in 2017. And at Fiat Chrysler Automobiles filed a U.S. trade complaint seeking to prevent Indian automaker Mahindra & Mahindra from importing an off-road vehicle that looks like its iconic Jeep. The Fiat Chrysler Group filed the complaint on August 1st at the U.S. International Trade Commission, claiming that the Mahindra Roxor infringes key characteristics of Jeep's signature trade dress, namely the boxy body shape with flat-appearing vertical sides and rear body ending at about the same height as the hood. They are nearly identical copy of the iconic Jeep design, Fiat Chrysler said in its complaint, which included photos comparing the Roxor to the Jeep. In fact, the accused product was modeled after the original Willys Jeep. In 2017, Mumbai-based Mahindra, which claims to be India's largest SUV manufacturer, opened a headquarters in Southeast Michigan for its newly developed North American branch. FCA has also said that Roxor imports threaten it with substantial injury as they are underselling Jeeps. Mahindra capitalizes on the cost advantages of manufacturing their products in India and then importing knockdown kits to the U.S., where they're assembled in the Detroit area. Fiat Chrysler has become increasingly reliant on its Jeep product line. On August 1st, the company reported its highest ever July sales for Jeep brand vehicles, up 16% to power the company's overall 5.9% jump from a year ago. Mahindra announced plans in November to invest $600 million in its Roxor manufacturing facility. The Michigan unit tripled its workforce, and by 2020, the group plans to employ as many as 670 workers there. Fiat Chrysler's complaint pointed to Mahindra's substantial foreign manufacturing capacity combined with its demonstrated intention to penetrate the United States market and harm FCA's goodwill and business. Mahindra has a relationship with the Jeep brand that long predates the existence of Fiat Chrysler. As early as the 1940s, the Indian company had a license from Willys to assemble Jeep SUVs for the Indian market based on the iconic CJ design, and has since secured licenses from successive owners of the Jeep brand for its own version of the vehicle, now called the Thar. FCA last year began building Jeep brand SUVs in India. Well, that's all for this edition of Auto Talk. I'm Dave Kenny, and as always, may the wind be at your back as you cruise down life's highways.
Hi, I'm Rachel Baker, and welcome to OCTV's weekly calendar of events, where we feature community activities and family outings around Oxford, Leonard, and Lake Orion. If you or your organization would like us to get your message out to the public, please contact us for more information at our studio. Our number is 248-628-9658, or go to our website at occtv.org. The Oxford Library is offering some very interesting programs in the month of September. Coming up on Saturday, September 15th at 1 p.m., join Dorothy Johnstone from Johnstone Photography in Oxford as she gives pointers on the ins and outs of great nature photography. Then go outside and get a live demo on some of the best techniques to use. On Monday, September 17th, the library will be honoring Constitution Day by bringing in Professor John Todd from Rochester College to talk about how the Founding Fathers created one of the most important and potentially misinterpreted document in United States history, the U.S. Constitution. Learn the why, how, and what of our founding principles at 7 p.m. on the 17th. Then on Wednesday, September 26th, learn about Social Security and how it affects you. A speaker from the Social Security office will be on hand to talk about Social Security programs, benefits, and services at 7 p.m. Finally, on August 23rd, bring your ideas to the Teen Department. From 5 o'clock to 6:30 p.m., the Oxford Library wants to ask teens what they want from their library. You can offer ideas for service projects, clubs, or anything else really that you can think up. For more information, call them at 248-628-3034 or visit their website at miopl.org. Next up, the Oxford Museum will be hosting a cemetery tour on Saturday, September 8th from 1 to 4 p.m. and will feature the life stories of business pioneers that founded our town. Basically, people will be standing in front of the pioneer's tombstone reading a script telling that person's life story. Get your tickets for $15 from the museum off of M24 and Burdick Street. Also, very quickly, the Oxford Community Theater will be featuring The Hunchback of Notre Dame on August 24th, the 25th, and 26th. Stay tuned next week for more details on buying tickets. Ladies and gentlemen, mark your calendars. The Oxford Chamber of Commerce is partnering with McLaren once again for a Women's Expo to help raise money for women in need of mammograms that cannot afford them. This is a great opportunity to showcase your business to a large audience. The Chamber will be offering vendors a selection of spaces to highlight your business. The vendor spaces cost $125 for members and $165 for non-members. If you're interested in becoming a sponsor or would like more information, please contact the Chamber of Office at 248-628-0410. Much later, the American Legion in Oxford will be hosting a gun show on October 20th from 7 to 9 a.m. If you're interested in becoming a vendor, contact Jim Parkhurst at 248-693-2444 or Art Kitching at 248-818-9687. A table costs $15. Admission is $5 and children 12 and under can get in free. The American Legion can be found at 130 East Drainer Road. All local, state, and federal firearm laws and ordinances must be obeyed, and the American Legion is not responsible for any damages. Finally, the Canine Stray Rescue League hosts regular adoption events at Harvest Time Market on Drainer Road and Petco in Auburn Hills. This Saturday, come out and adopt a pet in need. The Canine Strays will be at Petco on South Baldwin Road. For every adoption made at Petco, a donation is made to Canine. Also, all adopters are provided a Petco coupon book for discounts on all your pet needs. Next Saturday, another adoption event will be held at Harvest Time on South Lapeer Road. People that will adopt next week will get a free bag of Nutrisource dog food. For more information, please call K9 Stray Rescue League at 248-628-0435. This is Oxford Community TV, and I'm your calendar host, Rachel Baker. Please join us again for your weekly schedule of events.